Hey y'all, welcome back to the party. It is me, your girl BrittReacts, and today we're going to react to Howard Stern remembering Richard Simmons. Let's see.
I'm heartbroken about this one. Richard Simmons died. Richard was the best. Richard was the greatest guest. He was just fucking unreal. He got the joke, and he was just great.
Thinking about some of the outfits he used to show up in.
How many times
Look
was he
at
on
this
the show,
guy.
Robin? Take a guess.
Jeez, I would say 57 times.
Wow.
Close, 64.
Jesus, he was on the show 64 times. I want you guys to know that when I saw this pop up on my, my suggestion feed, just like y'all, I was rattled. Like, I think I audibly gasped because I had no idea. I don't know if I'd been under a rock or if it happened. Y'all know I moved recently, so I don't know, like, if I just missed this in the news. I don't know. But this rocked my world. My heart just broke because you guys have watched me fall in love with him here on the channel on, why was I going to say, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, though? The comedy show that I'm drawing a blank on. I've been sick. My brain is not working. Whose line is it anyway? Jesus. And I'm just like, why? Why? It's heartbreaking. You guys also know I love Howard Stern. I'm assuming we're going to see like clips and stuff. I hope that'll just make me laugh. And another thing that I love is, okay, the first clip they showed of him coming in this, what seemed to be like almost like a drag outfit, is from what I know, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Richard Simmons is one of these celebrities who, like, we didn't know a lot about his personal life. As far as I'm concerned, we never got a confirmation of his relationship status or sexual preference or orientation, and none of that mattered. It's none of our business. And all this like salacious headline news that, like, why do we need to know who our favorite artist is? Because we don't. Just make the good art, just make the good music, just make the good songs, just make the good videos of you exercising. I don't care. It's like he comes from an era where I feel like none of that was ever even a factor on the table. They did their jobs and then they went home and minded their business. You know what I mean? And I just wish we could get back to that. He just reminds me of, like, that's such one of the beautiful things I think about the previous generations, was that they just understood, like, his job was to entertain us. His job was not to fill us in on his personal business. Anyway, rest in peace, Richard. I had no idea. Why didn't anybody tell me?
Wow. Is Sweating to the Oldies tape grossed over $200 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
The
That's
Denver
huge
Post called it
then.
the Citizen Kane of workout videos.
Whoa.
I don't know what that means.
I really did love the guy, and certainly what he gave my audience. He gave it his all. You know, he was just fucking phenomenal on the air.
They have the same hair.
Howard.
I love you.
There's very few people that I'm in love with, and
Thank
you're
you.
one of them.
Is that true?
And I've known you for
He means
1/3 of my
that.
life. And you've
Wow.
always allowed me to come on
Yes.
and talk about things that were very important to me.
I adore you.
Oh,
Gary,
Richard.
much to his credit, always stayed in touch with Richard. Richard and Gary had a close relationship because Richard was really
Look at
there
him
for
holding
Gary
it.
when his brother was dying. And Richard even went to the hospital and visited Gary's brother. I mean, Richard was a really stand-up
was
guy.
that kind of guy, yeah.
Everybody wanted to know what happened to Richard Simmons in the last 10 years.
I had been sending emails to his publicist for years. Please, not for the show purposes, just like tell Richard I still think about him all the time. And around March, he started posting again.
Oh gosh, it's the Weight Saint was his Twitter name. I love that. I think we should all strive to have a legacy like Richard Simmons. Listen to the way that they're speaking about him, such genuine like kindness, and you could tell when he was talking about Howard how deeply he meant that. I truly believe that we are all meant to have more than one soulmate. Like, a soulmate doesn't have to be someone you are in a monogamous relationship or a relationship with. Like, my best friends are my soulmates. They're just souls that are like your twin flame, you're tied to, you're tethered to. They are your like safest space, and it doesn't have to be a love relationship. And so I love that he said, I'm in love with you, because I'm in love with my best friends, and I only got about one of them. And I just had this conversation with her recently. I was in Atlanta, and I was just like, girl, you can be in love with people, and it doesn't have to be, but it can be totally platonic. So I love that that was said. This is heartbreaking, though, because what did happen? Everything I've watched, I know, was at least 2 decades old, I feel like, at this point.
About him all the time. And around March, he started posting again. And then he made a post about you first we start emailing a lot for a couple of months. But then I would say well into middle June, I sent a note and then my phone rings and it's Richard. The big discussion was if Richard was going to go anywhere and tell a story, it was going to be here. And we were trying to figure out when to do that. I was kind
I didn't
of pressing
know
him to do
they
it
had
before
this
the summer
relationship.
ended. And he was like, I have so many things going. He had a musical. He had a documentary. And all this.
A musical of his life. Can we still make that happen? Can his estate make this happen? I would go see that on Broadway today. A Richard Simmons musical, honey. It's like his life was a musical. A documentary. I love a documentary. Y'all know I don't like movies, but I will sit down and watch 27 documentaries back to back to back.
He had a musical. He had a documentary. Had all these things going on. He said, I'd rather do that when we get back in the fall. But I promise you, I will only talk to Howard to tell my story.
So we were really excited
Tomorrow is not
I was like, this is going to be a phenomenal show. Richard's going to talk about what's been happening the last 10 years because everybody wants to know. And so, of course, Richard died. He the way I heard it is he took a fall in his home, right?
No.
He fell in his home and he hit his head.
Oh, my
and
God.
his according to sources, his housekeeper said maybe we should go to the hospital. And he said, it's my birthday. I don't want to go on my birthday. We'll go tomorrow.
Shut up. He fell on his birthday. You know, I think I am guilty of this. Like, just not realizing how dangerous a fall can be for especially people of a particular age, but really anyone. If you fall the wrong way, you hit the wrong thing at the wrong angle, wrong time, your life could be over. I remember I was following this family one time from the Midwest. I think the father was like a pastor and the mom was an artist, and their daughter, she was 10. She fell off a golf cart. Life changed forever, like forever. She was such a like bright, colorful, vivid young girl, and she was literally reduced to vegetable state, and it was heartbreaking. It's just like she fell and hit her head. And on his birthday, this is too much, guys. Why didn't anybody email me and tell me about this?
It's my birthday. I don't want to go on my birthday. We'll go tomorrow. And tomorrow he died.
I talked to him a month before he died. He called and we had
Robin
a
looks
wonderful
great.
conversation.
I love her hair. I love the
and,
glasses.
We talked about, the good old days and, what's going on now. And I was very upfront with him about my, because he wanted to know how I was doing. And, he became the teary Richard who cares so much.
Right.
He was almost
He
crying. Yeah, because I've been through so much. And
what has she
one
been
of the
through?
last things he
Robin,
said to
girl.
me is, if you ever need anything, and I mean anything, you call me.
Oh, he meant it.
And I said, I feel the same about you, Richard. And he was like, okay. And we got off the phone. And then the next day or 2 days later, 5 dozen roses appeared at my home.
5 dozen.
We all need Richard as a friend. Are you kidding?
Wow. Here's a montage of Richard singing on our show, and I think this is
what I've been waiting for. I'm like, please show clips. I just want to say, I know that Howard Stern's show has come from a very scandalous, salacious beginning, upbringing, past, if you will. But what I have seen of this show is, and I think he's had different versions. The show has evolved, and I think everyone should be allowed to evolve, especially in an artistry way. But I love how his show, for me, is one of the most informative things that I react to here on YouTube. Like, he always gives such good interviews. They always talk so in depth. He always seems like a really in tune, empathic interviewer. Like, he just really gets it and cares, and maybe even does his research. But to find out that they had this like really deep friendship with Richard, for me, is just the kind of the cherry on top to what I thought about this show and what it has evolved into now. I know the beginning of it was raunchy and rowdy, and we've all been a little raunchy and rowdy. But I love that like artists can come on here and showcase themselves, and people can come on here and talk about real issues. It's a beautiful thing. I'm really excited for this montage. I feel like I'm gonna like cry, laugh, cry.
Yeah.
Wow. Here's a montage of Richard singing on our show, and I think this is a great way to remember Richard.
I enjoy being a joy. I enjoy.
And he's still got his workout sneakers on.
please, Jesus.
Yeah.
Robin's here.
Do you have a doll collection?
Robin, hi. I miss you. La 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 la. I love Howard.
Yeah, because she's all over.
I love Howard.
What is he doing?
Stop! I don't want to go to the prom, Mama. Please,
Richard,
mother, daughter, mother.
Oh, I need context. What's happening in this
The truth
interview?
is I never left you.
You can't come
I
in.
love you.
Stop.
Come here, touch me.
No, I don't want to touch.
Come here.
Touch
But
me.
you will one day.
You think?
I've got a radio.
This is so unhinged without context. Also, he said a montage of him singing on the show as if it was going to be like many, many different clips from him throughout the years. This is still one visit we're watching right now. This man was incredible. Look at this eyeshadow blend. Look at the liner.
Come here. But
The
you
French
will
tips.
one day.
This
You
is
think?
too much.
I've got a radio show. I'm Howard Stern.
We that never happened.
You're going to break the mic. Oh, my God.
Oh, what is he doing?
He's breaking the mic.
Look at the diamond ring on
In
his
fact,
finger.
I will say this. Richard was responsible for a lot of the drops Fred plays. I'll play a montage
No,
of drops. if you like.
stop.
It's always fun to hear some of the weird noises that came out of Richard. No, really, what kind of fragrance is
No, I
that?
have really nothing on.
Richard,
No,
to be
I
serious.
exercised this morning, so you're just smelling Howard, how I love you, how I love you. Gary,
When is the last time you got
Gary,
laid? Richard, get over here.
F crying. This is too much.
Gary, where are you?
No, Richard, be serious. Richard.
Gary.
There's such youthfulness and joy spewing from this man. Like, this is truly just someone who was light and was joy in his most authentic self. Like, what? You smell mad. I love you.
I mean, I have a million memories, and there was a time he came in dressed up as a real biker, and he scared the shit out of us.
Yeah.
And the son of a gun looked
Look
really
at
tough.
him.
And he started threatening to kick my ass, and I was like, uh-oh. And then he goes, it's me, it's Richard.
Look at Howard's hair. is
Anyway,
amazing.
rest in peace, Richard Simmons. Oh, I have Richard and I singing a love song to one another.
Do it.
Oh,
that,
God.
I wanna
that could
see
be good.
it.
Here.
Unforgettable.
Who farted?
Howard.
You're not singing, Richard. Go.
Wait. Howard. And
Evermore.
Oh, guys, this is so sad.
That's how you'll stay.
that's how you'll say.
Whose line is next, man?
Both together now.
That's why, darling, it's incredible.
Oh, the height difference is crazy.
That's someone so Richard unforgettable.
Stop that.
That's
Stop
why I'm unforgettable too.
Stop that.
That was the perfect montage of like seriousness and foolishness. Oh, you guys, like, I genuinely had no idea. Crud. All right, leave your favorite Richard Simmons moment memory down below and cherish the day for yourself and the people around you guys. Go and have the day you deserve. Rest in peace, Richard.